January a year ago, Rajendra Pachauri is the man who the Bush administration and Exxon put into the position of head of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the UN's climate agency, because they were reasonably certain that he wouldn't do anything. And I know Rajendra, for their intents, this was a good choice. So it was an act of unusual leadership when he came out with this comment. The climate change is for real. We have just a small window of opportunity. It's closing rapidly. There's not a moment to lose. We're risking the ability of the human race to survive. Okay, now I'm scared. I stood about 2 weeks ago at the Clinton Global Initiative with Dr. Rosina Birnbaum, who's chief scientist of the US, and Tom Lovejoy, another one of the leading climate scientists, and I said to them, is it too late? And Tom said, no. He said, the thing we most need now is hope. We most need to tell the young people that there is hope. But he said, that is what the science says as well. He said, time is not long. This is something we must deal with, probably within 10 years. That's what Jim Hanson's science is showing. We have 10 years to turn this around. 10 years is a heartbeat in public policy. So what are you going to do when you wake up tomorrow morning about climate change? Companies are starting to do something. This little outfit out of the UK for years has been sending out to the Financial Times 500, the 500 biggest companies in the world, a survey saying, what's your carbon footprint? And for years the companies have been ignoring it until 2005, when 60% of the companies answered. This year, 70% answered. Why the difference? Well, for one thing, the project now represents institutional investors with $31 trillion in assets. If you want to go to the capital marketplace, you might want to answer their question. For another, under Sarbanes-Oxley, the new US corporate ethics law, if as a corporate manager you fail to disclose to shareholders information that can materially affect share price, you can be personally criminally liable. So what's your carbon footprint? But we know how to protect the climate at a profit. And companies are starting. In 2000, BP announced it was going to reduce its emissions 10% below its 1990 levels by 2010. Now, that may not sound like a lot, but it's more than this administration says we cannot afford to do under the Kyoto Protocol. And BP's a carbon-intensive company. They thought this was a stretch. So it surprised them that it only took them 2 years to do it, and doing it is saving them $750 million. And they now say making them the kind of company the best talent wants to come work for. DuPont's gone further. In the same time frame, 65% reduction over their 1990 levels, and by 2010 getting 10% of their energy and a quarter of their feedstocks from renewables. Has DuPont joined Greenpeace? They made this announcement in the name of increasing shareholder value, and their metrics are pretty impressive. They've already beaten their target and saved $3 billion with a B dollars. They're not the edge of the envelope. ST Microelectronics, same time frame, zero net CO2 emissions with a 40-fold increase in production. And doing this, making this commitment and delivering on it is driving their corporate innovation. It's taken them from the number 12 chip maker in the world to the number 6. And their metrics are pretty good. They've announced even more ambitious renewables goals. They're winning awards. They reckon by the time they're carbon neutral, they will have saved about $1 billion. What is your campus doing? Here's what a number of companies are doing. When we came back from Kyoto, we thought we'd got the job done. We had an international accord on reducing greenhouse gas emissions, till the US Senate said no. We were going around with a long face. This man, Richard Sandor, said, wait a minute, governments don't make markets, traders do. I'm a trader, let's make a market. So with 16 companies, DuPont, ST, my little company, City of Chicago, he opened Chicago Climate Exchange, trading carbon in a country where there's no law that says you have to. There are now over 200 members, including a number of universities. So here's your homework. Go join Chicago Climate Exchange. Or if you can't, as the University of Colorado did, work something out with Drive Neutral. We purchased through Chicago Climate Exchange. This is externally, third-party verified carbon offsets, and mostly carbon reductions through efficiency of the companies. Dave mentioned Drive Neutral. Here's the homework for each one of you. You all drive a car. Go home, get on the web, driveneutral.org, calculate your carbon emissions, and offset them. It costs you about 2 fill-ups of gas. And this is something you can have every one of your students do. It's something you can do tonight when you get online tomorrow.